Hey guys, just wanted to show you guys my Monarch hand loop build that I've been testing and had a lot of success with. This deck has been pretty fun, so I was going to show you guys. Alright, so I want to start off with the spells. Triple Pantheism. This card is godly. Draw 2, searches, does everything. Triple Tenacity, helps your searches, helps thin out the deck. Triple Domain, lower your big monarchs levels, block out the deck, your opponent from the extra deck, plus 800 in attack, card's great. Triple Stormforth, because we like to take away our opponent's monsters. Triple Return, helps unbrick the deck if you only open up one monarch. Just helps you search out all the monarchs you're going to need. This card is never dead. One March. A lot of people say this card is bad. Don't see what's bad about it. Protects your monarchs from Ghost Ogre, Effect Veiler, from cards that target, cards that destroy. This card is great. I don't see what's bad about it. I would keep it at 1 just because more than 1 gets kind of bricky and it doesn't advance your own game state. Plus, it's searchable like every card in the deck. 1 Frost Blast. Dump it with Pantheism. Dump it with Erebus. It's a good turn if you're going second and your opponent has back row, just because it's going to stop whatever back row they have that might fuck you over. Obviously, you can just side it out. Double Prime. And I run double Escalation. Basically, this is going to turn your monarchs into trap cards. Summon your monarchs on your opponent's turn. And you plus, and you can try to make them neg, depending on what you're summoning. Double Mind Crush. With this deck, you get to know your opponent's hand quite a lot. You get to force them to draw certain cards. So with this, you can just keep stacking the deck in their favor, and then also just call out the same cards that they're drawing. I'll show that later. To me, this is my favorite Vassal. I run triple Mithra. Because I run mini Thestalos in this deck and return, this can give you 2 summons on your turn alone, which is great. Obviously, it's going to help unbreak your deck because this card special summons itself, so you don't use up a normal summon that can get Veilered. I run triple Eidos. Also, this card is great with Thestalos because you can just normal summon this, activate the effect, and then tribute out for Thestalos, the mini monarch, the regular monarch. So this helps out a lot. And obviously, when you summon it out with Edea, just the pluses are inevitable. I only run 2 Edea because with the way I play this deck, to me, I feel like this is one of the worst normal summons in the deck. Just because Veiler, Ghost Ogre, Strike, all that is out and running now. So I hate when I have to normal summon him, activate the effect, and then I see that Veiler or a Strike or Warning or whatever. It sucks because then this card that can potentially unbreak your hand now breaks. I mean, I don't mind summoning him. Just when he gets Veilered, that's when it's the worst, and that's why I cut it down. It may be just my locals that just run Veiler and Ghost Ogre and Strike. You can always pump it up. I run triple Erebus. Helps fill out the grave, non-targeting shuffle, and then also recycles your monarchs in grave. I run triple Thestalos. He's great. Obviously, only 1 tribute, and then you toss a card from your opponent's hand to the grave, which is awesome. And then I run Mega Thestalos. Basically the same thing, more burn damage. And if you summon him and have return on the field and search him out, then you get an added 1000 burn damage. So for decks that have high level monsters in there, that they run high level monsters, this fucking card is great. And where the loop comes in, I run 2 Mega Raizas. It's great. I love summoning Mega Raiza. I love using Mega Raiza. I love using Mega Raiza to bring back Mega Raiza. Basically, you summon a monster out, and then you search Mega Raiza, and then you escalation during your opponent's turn, summon Mega Raiza, take a card in their grave, put it on top of their deck, make them draw into it, or even stack up your own deck, recycle your Mind Crushers, recycle your Pantheisms, recycle your Edeas, whatever you need to do. This card helps with managing your own resources, because you can just bring your own resources back. But then, if you time it perfectly, you can just force your opponent to keep drawing the same cards. Other cards that you could try, that I've tried Appointer of the Red Lotus, Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, and Crush Card Virus. I prefer these two over this one, just because these cards are a lot more devastating. The cost of this card is way too much. It's essentially you pay 2,000, reveal your entire hand, you look at your opponent's hand, and you banish a card until the end phase. In theory, I thought it was great. In testing, it was garbage. I wanted to get rid of this card. I hated drawing into this card. I wanted to get rid of this card all the time. I hated having that card in the deck. Crush card, that wins you games. So you could swap out a Mind Crusher or a Monarch or whatever you wanted and play Crush card. Just make sure you save your Eidos and don't tribute them out. One of my favorite plays in this deck is opening up with Thestalos, Mithra, Escalation, and Return. And you can have any other Monarch in your hand. So let's say you have double Thestalos, or a Thestalos and an Erebus, or a Thestalos and a Mega Thestalos. Basically, you special summon this guy, summon out Return, set Escalation, tribute, summon Thestalos, search Erebus, for example. Then you rip a card out from their hand. Then for your additional tribute summon, tribute out into Mega Thestalos. Look at their hand, send another card to the grave. Now your opponent is starting off with 2 less cards opening hand, right? Then during your turn, they do whatever, activate Escalation, tribute Mega Thestalos, summon Erebus. From there, you toss Pantheism and Frost Blast, or Pantheism, or wherever you want. Shuffle 1 card from their hand back into their deck, and then from there, you search out Mega Raiza. And then you start the looping. You'll draw whatever you want for turn. Hopefully it's another Monarch. If it's not, it doesn't matter, because from here, you just keep shuffling. You summon this out, and then you stack your opponent's deck with 1 card that was sent to the graveyard, and you can even return this back into your hand, and then set it again, search out another Monarch, whatever you want it to be, and then when you summon that one out, search out another Mega Raizas during your opponent's turn, and then you just keep looping the Mega Raizas, looping with the Erebus, adding Mega Raizas to your hand, or the Thestalos to your hand, or even Erebus himself to your hand. And essentially, your opponent will never have a full hand. This deck has been a lot of fun. It's had a lot of success. Had a lot of salty people play against me. Had a lot of people scoop. This deck is a lot of fun. You do have to manage with resources. You don't want to push too hard unless you know for sure, which is usually by turn 2, maybe 3. You essentially know how your opponent is handling the loop. You know what you're tossing, you know what they're going to be drawing, so then you can push harder, push faster, and obviously if you have the Stormforths and you keep tributing their monsters, then they're not going to have anything to protect them with. Like I said, that's a lot of fun. For the side deck, obviously this deck has trouble with Master Restrict, so I have 2 MSTs for Master Restrict, and I know people think they're cute and they're doing Master Restrict with Key Beetle and Master Restrict with Stardust Dragon or some shit. So I run 2 Mausoleum of the Emperors to get out around Master Restrict. It sucks you don't get your effects, but you can still bring out a 28 booty and just run over what they have on the field, because not a lot of people have monsters that are stronger than 28, unless they obviously go first and then they just bring out everything from their extra deck. Landrobe is another MVP. He outs Stardust Dragon, he outs Infinity, he outs Nat Beast, he is just so good. Basically anything that's causing you problems, this guy outs it. Basically, he targets the monster that's on your opponent's side of the field and flips it face down. And then from there, he special summons himself. So there you have 2 tribute fodders if you have a Stormforth, or 1 tribute fodder and you have a domain or whatever. This is great against everything right now, in my opinion anyways. Droll and Lockbird. Stopping your opponent from adding more cards to their hand. Helps if you're facing the mirror. It helps keep your Monarch opponent bricked. It helps stop Pepe from loading up their extra deck. Me personally, I run 2 Mega Zaborg. You could run 1 because we have triple return, which are also searchable to search out Mega Zaborg, but with Pepe, if you're able to go first turn 1, game 2 or game 3, if you're able to gain some kind of advantage, you want to see this guy as early as possible. Basically, you'll summon him out, target himself, pop himself, and you get to pick you get to pick 8 extra deck monsters and send them to the grave. The reason why I like 2, besides just wanting to see him earlier in game, is you can use the first one, take their extra deck monsters, right? And if you're able to pop off a second one, you can take their pendulum monsters that are face up in the extra deck, so they can't just keep pendulum summoning monsters to stall out. Mega Caius, or those dark decks, banish the dark monster and they can banish all copies of it. And since people think they're cute with running Master Restrict and Stardust Dragon and Key Beetle and whatever to stop you from playing, I run 2 Erupt and 2 Majesty's Fiend. If I can't play, you can't play. What I would change 1 Erupt for a 3rd Majesty's Fiend, just so you can open it earlier, search out more, whatever you have to do. Obviously, having a Majesty's Fiend on board, it's going to slow your deck down a lot, but you can still bring out monsters if possible with Mausoleum, and it's just going to stop your opponent from doing anything, because it sucks not getting our effects, but at least we have beaters. We have 2,400 bodies. We have 2,800 bodies. So, and that's just our cards themselves. So having this out, even erupts, march, and domain, whatever you got to do to lock your opponent out, it's always fun. So yeah, this deck is gonna rip your opponent's hand out, loop your opponent's hand, lock your opponent out. This deck hits, I think, every corner you want to hit. With the fact that I run the mini Thestalos and the Mithras and the returns and the escalations, I think that helps the deck out a lot with the consistency issues, because it's a lot more cards are searchable and a lot more cards can advance your own game state. Especially with Raiza being able to even stack your own deck. You can even take your own resources that you need and add it back into your deck, whatever you have to do. So alright, man, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your time. Let me know what you guys think.